Today, we're making beef stock, more specifically, a brown stock. This is where we'll first roast our bones and meats to develop super rich, deep flavors for our stock. For me, having a good quality stock is a pantry staple, or better put, a freezer staple. That doesn't mean I don't keep bouillon cubes on hand, but when I want to impress with my dish, I reach for the homemade stock over the cubes. The cubes are for lazy nights and weekday dinners. Now, it's so easy to make a good quality stock, and it can really go a long way to elevating your next meal. Better yet, today I'll be showing you how you can achieve the results of an 8 to 10 hour slow simmer in half the time. So let's get cooking. I want to start by outlining a few key principles of how I make my large batch stocks. Principle number 1, no salt. At no point will we be adding salt to this stock. But hear me out, this is for good reason. Oftentimes, I'm reducing stock down to a demi-glace, or it's a last-minute decision to chuck into something I'm already halfway through making. By adding no salt, I have full control over how I use this down the line, and I can add the salt as needed for my end dish. Principle number 2, ratios. For the weight of my meat and bones, I like to use between 35 and 45% vegetables. Today, I have 1.5 kilos of bones and about 500 grams of stewing beef, which means I'll be using between 700 and 900 grams of vegetables. To make this nice and easy, we split our vegetables evenly. So I'll be using 250 grams each of carrots, onions, and celery. Principle 3. Finely diced vegetables. Most stock recipes out there will tell you to roughly chop your vegetables. But what I've found at the end of my cooking process is my carrots still taste like carrots, my celery still tastes like celery, which means their flavor isn't in my stock. Cutting our vegetables smaller allows for a better extraction of flavor, and it has the added benefit of fitting better in my pot. As this is a brown stock, we first need to roast our bones and meat. So we'll set our oven to 215 Celsius or 425 Fahrenheit and roast for about 35 to 40 minutes, flipping halfway through. Once done, we'll remove our bones and meat and add our vegetables to the same pan, letting that roast for about 20 to 25 minutes. Everything then gets added to a pot. My favorite trick here is using a pressure cooker. If you don't have a pressure cooker, you can totally use the largest pot you have to do this. If you're using a pot, you don't want the liquid to ever come above a simmer, and we'll skim the fat as we go. For our pressure cooker friends, we'll be skimming the fat afterwards. Our roasting pan has a lot of brilliant flavors as well, so we want to make sure we deglaze with hot water and add that to our pot. If you're doing this on the stove in a pot, you'll want to let this simmer for at least 6 hours, up to 10 if you can. For our pressure cooker friends, set your pressure cooker to 3 hours. Once all time has passed, strain your stock through a sieve or cheesecloth. For brownie points, you can join me in the following steps. We'll then let our stock cool in the fridge, as it'll make separating the fat much easier. We'll then save the fat for other applications. We're going to reduce our stock by 1/3, largely because of my freezer capacity, but also because it means I'll have an even richer stock on hand when I need it. Lastly, we'll be using these large ice cube molds to freeze our stock into easily accessible cubes for when we need them. And that's it. You've got a rich, homemade beef stock, ready to take your cooking to the next level. Whether you're making soups, sauces, or risottos, this is the type of ingredient that takes your dish from good to unforgettable. Plus, with a little bit of extra effort to reduce and freeze it, you'll always have a high-quality stock on hand for when inspiration strikes. If you found this recipe helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments how you plan to use your stock.